What was your reaction when Camron brought up all these old stories and everything about you?
I laugh, man. I got this thing, man. People laugh at the lies, but the truth always hurt. You know, lies are more entertaining. You heard? You get to laugh, you get the joke, but the truth is a serious thing, no matter how you look at it. The truth is what the truth is.
You are a guardian angel and designer. What the f is you talking about, man? You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, man.
I was the CEO of Diplomats. I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down.
You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan, nigga. A fan. So you can sit around and act like you've been around all this Harlem shit and everything. You ever see somebody from Harlem try to act like they from Harlem so bad that you gotta keep saying, I'm from Harlem? From Harlem know who's from Harlem. You don't have to keep saying you from Harlem.
What if everything you thought you knew about Jim Jones was a whole performance, a show he'd been rehearsing for years? Imagine this, the same man who claims he put Mase and Cam'ron on the map wasn't the mastermind at all, but just a super fan begging for a seat at the table. What if the truth is flipped and it's Jones who owes them, not the other way around? Think back to when Dipset ruled the streets, with diplomatic immunity blasting from every car, every block, every party. That was more than music. It was a movement, a culture, a code. But what if you found out the whole thing was built on a made-up story? What if the loudest dude in the crew was never the brain behind it, just somebody who slid in at the right time, yelling his name over the beat? Now the truth is leaking out, and Jones is scrambling, clutching what's left of the spotlight like it's slipping through his hands. But how long can you fake the boss act before the real architects step back in and snatch their credit? In this game, respect isn't handed out, it's earned.
You remember how we met? Pause. So not met, how you got cool with us? Basically, you heard our freestyles. And you came up to me one day when I was chilling in front of the house. You said, yo, man, I heard the freestyles. Y'all killing shit. More freestyles come out. Y'all heard the new shit you did. Children of the Corn, 12-minute freestyle. Mase, Camron, Cardan, DJ Clue. Google Bloodshed and Camron, Children of the Corn, freestyle. Are you at any of these places? No, you was not there, man. You wasn't there.
You can't just claim corners you never hustled on or rewrite your own history because the attention moved. You don't fake legacy. You live it with grind, sweat, and love from the block. But Jim Jones has been wilding for years, talking slick, flipping the timeline, and breaking every quiet rule the culture stands on. Now the ones who really built it are coming back with receipts and the original blueprint, ready to crush that fantasy he's been selling. He actually had the nerve, straight-faced, to claim he was the CEO of Dipset like Mase and Camron needed him to shine. That's not confidence, that's straight-up identity hijacking. Imagine being from Harlem, acting like you built the empire when you were just another face at the grand opening. And here's the wildest part, he says it like it's fact, like history bends around his version, but when you tell yourself the same story long enough, you start believing your own remix.
He need to go on a diet. He need to get his life together. He need to go to the doctor and get a physical. He looked terrible, bad body, back ass. He look big around the neck, waist look crazy. I'm body shaming this. You heard? He need to go get his shit together, get on the treadmill, do some push-ups, do something. You heard? Especially for playing with me.
Still, the truth doesn't stay buried forever. Eventually, the ones who bled for the brand step back in to reclaim what's theirs. And trust, they aren't asking nicely. They're done watching somebody else benefit from the name they created. Camron didn't just call out Jim Jones. He blew up the whole illusion with 4 savage words. You were our fan. Boom. 2 decades of storytelling vanished in one line. This isn't about old beef or hurt pride. This is about truth versus fiction, legacy versus leeching. Then Camron stepped in, and he didn't just talk. He erased Jones's whole myth in a single sentence. After that, the internet went crazy, putting the puzzle together piece by piece, and it's not looking good for Jones. This is the moment everything starts to unravel. Camron highlighted the real issue. Too many people hanging around the great, not out of loyalty, but out of fear. Fear that the mask might slip, and everybody sees the truth. They never had it to begin with. Jones's whole persona has been stitched together from borrowed stripes and secondhand shine.
Yeah, listen, man, listen. You were fanned out and you begged to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in. Mase actually taught you how to rap. Literally. He taught you how to rap.
Mase taught me how to rap.
You say it. We taught you how to rap. How you ran the whole organization. How you made Diplomat. Yeah, you ain't make none of this stuff. You was a fan. That's how you got down originally. Period. I heard the new shit you did. Yo, you want to come through? Come through. Why? Why are we going to Jomo's house?
But now the seams are tearing apart and the truth is slipping through every crack. Camron made it plain, when you never put in the real work, you start clinging to the ones who did. Jim Jones didn't earn his spot. He slid through the side door, while Camron and Mady were already turning up the city. Back when the mixtapes were setting Harlem on fire, Jones wasn't the architect. He was just another dude in the crowd, watching and wishing somebody would notice him. And let's not forget this, Jones straight up said he was the CEO of Dipset. But he didn't build that empire. He watched it rise, tagging along, claiming that co-founder title like it was handed out for free. He finessed his way in, hoping nobody would check the timeline. Now, with receipts exposing every move, people are looking back and asking, was it all just a hustle to stay close to the ones who were really popping? Here's the real issue. In the streets, begging is the ultimate red flag. You don't beg your way into a crew. You prove your worth. You bring value or you stay on the sidelines. That's the code.
He taught me how to rap, and Cam always made sure I was on every single album he had. He was like, boy, once you figure out how to rap the same way you act in these streets, it's gonna work for you. Just keep going. And that's all so I always gotta give credit where credit is due and shit like that. It would be no
Jim Jones broke that code a long time ago. So this isn't just about whether he deserves a seat at the Dipset table. It's about how long he thought he could ride a wave he didn't create. Waves crash eventually, and the architects pulled up with the blueprint, ready to bulldoze the whole fantasy. Hip-hop isn't about volume, it's about consistency. Jones's story flips depending on who's listening. One day he's a co-founder, the next day just a loyal soldier. Which is it? Real ones don't switch up. Their story stays solid because truth doesn't need edits. Now peep this. The receipts are coming from Jones's own past interviews. His own words are being used to dismantle the image he's been pushing for years. You can't lie on camera in 2005 and try to rewrite history in 2024, not with the internet holding every file. When your old self exposes your new story, it doesn't just look shaky, it shatters your whole career. That's not a plot twist, that's a plot collapse. Camron isn't throwing random shots. He's lining up to play, saying he's got proof. And in the streets, when someone says they have receipts, it doesn't end with words. That means the truth is coming out. When it does, any respect Jones thought he had is gone. Check the tone. Camron isn't shouting. He's calm, cool, and in control. And that's the proof right there.
Stop tricking out their freedom, bro. This is gonna be the last time I address this. Whatever you got to say after this, good luck. I wish you luck. I got other shit to do.
I've got work to do. He isn't wilding out with accusations. He's just waiting for the perfect moment to press play and let Jim Jones expose himself. And oh, did that moment land like a bomb. Jim Jones, the same dude running around claiming he's the CEO, the backbone, the one who put everybody on, got caught on tape saying May taught him how to rap, not the other way around. Let that sink in. Jim didn't make May. May made Jim. That's not just a contradiction, that's a confession. And it didn't come from some random street post. It came straight out of Jim Jones's own mouth. That right there confirmed everything Camron and Mase have been saying for years. When your enemy doesn't even have to come for you because you already exposed yourself, that's next level street justice. But wait, it goes even deeper. Jones has been fabricating more than just his Dipset role. He's been twisting the whole story of their friendship. He's out here telling people Camron was broke, crashing on his couch, like he was the big homie holding everything down. But that's not how it went at all. That's straight up storybook fantasy. The real history doesn't match his version at all. This is what happens when people lie their way to the top. They get trapped in their own stories, one little spotlight, and suddenly they're rewriting everything. Suddenly they're the boss, the mastermind, the one who made it all happen. But when you're surrounded by people who actually lived it, that fake story flips on you fast.
Know what I've done. Dance around it all they want and shit like that, joking, but they know if I get upset, it's gonna be a real problem.
Get out of here.
The same tales you thought gave you clout, now they're weapons aimed right back at you. And the wildest part, Jim Jones can't even clap back. How do you fight the truth when it came straight out of your own mouth? How do you claim you built him after admitting he taught you everything? That isn't just embarrassing. That's career suicide. The Dipset timeline shifts. It gets colder. Jones keeps stumbling through contradiction after contradiction. Meanwhile, the real ones who saw Dipset rise were quiet, just watching, but now they're stepping in with receipts and clarity. Enter Jules Santana, stepping into the chat, and instantly the energy shifts. He's not hyped or yelling, just calm, clear, and straight to the point. He said, "It was smooth at first until it wasn't." That quiet delivery hits hardest because real ones don't need to yell. They just say it like it is. The second Jules speaks, the timeline starts shifting, dropping timestamps showing exactly when things went sideways and who was acting differently. Out of nowhere, Choke slides in, wild card alert. He isn't picking sides, just adding new layers to the chaos. He straight up says, yeah, people did move under Jim's direction, and yes, Jim did have some authority. So now it isn't just about calling him a fraud, it's about calling out a man who had influence but couldn't own his actual spot. Jim wasn't some outsider. He had a chair at the table, he just wasn't sitting at the head. The muscle versus brains debate. Let's keep it 100. Jim wasn't the boss, but he wasn't just extra either. He was in the building, just not on the top floor. He played his position, but somewhere along the way, he started writing himself in as the main character. He went from middleman to mastermind, but the blueprints weren't his. Here is where the internet lost it. Choke dropped a bomb saying there would be no Dipset without Jim, Ev, in calling him the muscle behind the empire. But hold up, being the muscle doesn't mean you're the brains. Just because you're needed doesn't mean you originated the whole thing. Jim held it down, no doubt, but his lane was pressure, presence, and street support, not creative leadership or business vision. There's a big difference between being essential and being in control. A perception war. Right now, we're watching the truth circle in real time. Two camps, both with receipts, both claiming the truth. You've got Jules and Choke saying, nah, Jim wasn't just a fan. They saw him active. They knew he played a part. And they're tired of Camron and Mase downplaying him like he was just tagging along. But then you have Cam and Mase flipping the lens, showing how Jim inflated his impact over the years. They're not saying he didn't matter. They're saying he twisted the story too far. Both sides are telling pieces of the truth. Cam and Mase are trimming Jim's legend down to size, while Jim's side stretches it to match the myth. It's a full-on perception war, and let's be real, Jim is losing the optics battle. That's where it hits the hardest. In street politics, perception is everything. Sometimes the truth doesn't even matter. It's all about how it looks. And right now, Jim Jones is looking like the dude who let ego rewrite his legacy. But hold up, it isn't over because Choke just flipped the whole script. He suggested that maybe it wasn't Jones being jealous, but maybe Camron just couldn't handle how far Jones came up. Analyzing Choke's bias, let's keep it 100 before anybody treats Choke like he's wilding. Choke's words are weighted. Step back and see what's really going on here. Choke isn't just talking opinions. He's moving with a grudge. That tension with Camron goes way back, and it isn't small drama. They almost came to blows once just because Camron showed love to one of Jones's mixtapes. Imagine being that mad over someone giving props to your ex-homie. That right there tells you everything about how deep Choke's personal beef runs. This isn't loyalty. It's bitterness, and that kind of bias makes the whole story suspect. Now he's out here trying to rewrite Jones's role, portraying him as the protector, the street guardian, holding it down when things got hot. Strategy or coincidence? But let's zoom out for a second. All these interviews, these back-in-the-day breakdowns, they dropped right after Jones released Church Steps in February 2025. Come on, that isn't coincidence. That's classic strategy. When the buzz is low, stir the pot with some Dipset drama and get the internet talking. And who better to co-sign than Choke, a dude with a vendetta and a mic? Perfect formula to get attention without even dropping a track. The ultimate betrayal. But the real heat comes from Jules breaking down the whole 50 Cent situation. Let's talk facts. Jones was so thirsty for solo shine, he straight up broke the ultimate code in the streets: loyalty in conflict. While Dipset was still going head-to-head with G-Unit, Jones jumped on stage with the opposition. That wasn't business chess. As betrayal fueled by a bruised ego. It wasn't about building a brand. It was about escaping Camron's shadow at all costs, even if it meant torching everything they built together. Jones didn't just switch sides. He made a statement. That move didn't scream confidence, it screamed frustration. It was like he couldn't take being second in command one more day, so he made the play that guaranteed attention, even if it blew the Dipset legacy to pieces. Unfinished business. And now the million-dollar question everybody's afraid to ask. With all this mess out in the open, what's the real chance of Jim, Cam, and May linking back up? When betrayal runs that deep, the door doesn't just close, it gets locked for good. Jones isn't some loyal ride or die who got burned by the crew. Nah, he's the hype man who couldn't handle not being the headliner. Now he's setting fire to his own camp just to get a little shine. For over 20 years, Jim Jones has been chasing center stage like it's his birthright. And now, he's trying to rewrite the whole Dipset saga to fit his version. The wildest part? He's out here recruiting folks with grudges, stacking his roster with people who have access to grind. He doesn't care about truth or legacy. He just wants backup to push his version of the story. Facts don't even matter. The anatomy of a manufactured feud. Even Zeke, presumably Freaky Zeke, who usually stays out of the mess, admitted the beef wasn't even that serious at first. Things only got wild when outside voices with their own agendas jumped in and started stirring the pot. That's when it flipped from a simple disagreement to a full-on legacy war. And let's not pretend Jones isn't benefiting from this circus. All this back and forth is fueling him. His whole career lately depends on keeping this feud alive. The messier it gets, the more his name pops up in conversation, and he knows it. But here's the catch. When someone's caught red-handed and the truth isn't on their side, they don't come clean. They move shady, dropping sneak disses and low-key threats, anything to distract from the fact that their image is crumbling in real time. The surgical takedown. Now peep how Camron is breaking it all down. Calm, cool, and collected, like he's reading straight from the ledger. He's not just airing drama, he's exposing patterns. This isn't a one-time slip-up. This is Jones's whole modus operandi, M.O. Camron says Jones moves with no code, no self-discipline, and no loyalty, just chasing attention wherever he can grab it. It's all hunger for fame, not love for the movement, not respect for the legacy, pure thirst. And that stings the most. Jones could have played his role and gone down as a legend. Instead, he tried to rewrite history and ended up exposing his own truth. That tough guy image hattered. Jones had been pushing this act for years. Street-heavy persona, muscle of Dipset, wild flexing, barking like he's untouchable. And it all got crushed like a soda can, thanks to one calm surgical takedown. Camron isn't even heated. He sounds tired, like he's dealing with a loud neighbor, not a real rival. When someone stops being mad and starts sounding bored, that's pure humiliation. Camron basically says Jones isn't even worth swinging on anymore. That's next-level disrespect. Meanwhile, Camron's making real moves, and Jones is stuck playing reruns from a story that isn't even right. The next move, intimidation. So, what's Jones's next move after getting exposed front to back? Threats. When the truth backs you into a corner and your lies are shredded, you play the only card left, intimidation. Classic panic. Jones is out here hinting he's going to reveal deep, dark secrets about Camron and Mase. But peep this, he's not denying any of their facts or quotes. If they were lying, wouldn't that be the first thing out of his mouth? No. He stays quiet on the real accusations and starts body shaming instead. Jim Jones is really telling Mae to hit the gym like we're in homeroom and not hip-hop. A grown man tossing playground insults because he has zero receipts and even less credibility. He really thought dissing someone's looks would win people back. That shows how far he's spiraled. This isn't boss moves. It's clown behavior from a man who knows he's already taken the L, the illusion of indifference. Here's the crazy twist. Jones keeps saying Camron's words don't matter, brushing it off like it's just internet clout chasing. But who is bouncing platform to platform, giving interviews like he's filming a press tour for a documentary? Any mic that's on, Jones is there, desperate to stay in the conversation. But here's the most telling moment. The second an interviewer asks him to break down what really went wrong with Camron and Mase, all that bark disappears. That's what happens when your whole image is built on shaky lies and borrowed stripes. The minute people start asking real questions, the whole storyline collapses like a house of cards. Jones loves talking tough when he has the mic, but when the questions get sharp, when someone starts peeling back the layers, there is nothing but awkward silence and the tension of what's coming next. This isn't just a fall from grace. It's a full-blown mental unraveling. A man lost in his own made-up legend for so long, he's now beefing with reality itself. Camron's final cold blow. Then boom, here comes Camron with the final cold blow. This isn't petty back and forth anymore. This is deep. Camron is pointing out a pattern that's been in the game for years. A pattern where anybody who tries to team up with Jones ends up worse off than when they started. Camron said it best. That ain't leadership, that's leech energy. Real bosses elevate their people. Jones pulls folks down, ties them up in drama, and leaves them hanging when it's time to level up. And the part that crushes it, Camron reveals Jones has been on a bitter media run against him and Mase for over a decade. This isn't fresh drama, it's obsession. It's personal. Jones is stuck in 2005 because that's the last time the spotlight hit him without someone else carrying the torch. The ultimate irony. Here's the wildest irony. Jones keeps swearing he doesn't care about rumors, talking about chasing the bag and building a legacy. But who is flooding the internet with back-to-back interviews on XXL, Cam Capone, podcasts, and live streams? Jones is there. The same guy claiming he's above the drama is feeding off it to stay relevant. That's the ultimate twist. But step back. This isn't just three Harlem heavyweights beefing over Dipset. This is way bigger. This is about authenticity in the culture, about who built it and who finessed their way in, about the difference between those who earned their spot and those chasing clout. Jim Jones's whole story is turning into a blueprint for what not to do, a warning for image flippers who think respect comes easy. Camron and Mase didn't just win, they exposed it all with receipts. Jones's own interviews, his contradictions, his own words. They held up a mirror, and what came back was the truth.